On a rainy day at Lake Dillon, friends, sailors, and loved ones gather to remember Paul Kresge. Phil Lindemann, Crystal 93 News. First, midweek traffic has eclipsed weekend highs from March, April, and May, with an average of 29,800 cars per day on I-70 through Summit this week. That is 150% more than weekend average in late March, 156% more than April, and up 27% compared to May. Father's Day weekend is historically one of the busiest of summer on I-70, with 161,000 vehicles in 3 days last year, but a lack of festivals could keep crowds at bay. Traffic hit 93,000 cars this past weekend, the heaviest 3-day total since before shutdown. Paul Kresge was a sailor, skier, and cyclist, and more than anything, he was passionate about passing on his love of sport.
He's a substantial man. He's a tall guy. He could be very serious. He could be a lot of fun. But man, when that guy was around kids, you could just see that his heart was in it and how much he loved the youth.
That was Dillon Marina manager Craig Simpson. Nearly 100 friends and family braved yesterday's storm in honor of Kresge, a 66-year-old lifelong sailor who drowned on Lake Dillon last weekend. Fellow sailor Ren Arbuthnot, who learned to sail with Kresge.
Paul was just such an amazing sailor, just a great human being, and just always wanted to get more people into the sport, wanted to increase the size of the star fleet. I mean, I don't know if anyone really remembers, Dillon used to have one of the biggest star fleets in the entire state.
Dillon Yacht Club Commodore D.B. Tanner estimates 30 boats left the marina in a brief window between bursts of rain, described by Simpson as a somber flotilla.
Just really brings into focus how tight this community is and how much we mean to each other and how much we do for each other.
Kresge's boat was named Quick Feet, a star-class keelboat, described by Arbuthnot as fast and technical, the Formula One of sailboats.
It's a lot of sail for a very small boat, and so they're very powerful, but it's all about making sure you don't snap your mast.
84-year-old Hans Bucher sold Kresge his first sailboat for $1,200 4 decades ago.
It was a Eigenloop red cedar boat.
The two became fast friends and fierce competitors, sailing head-to-head in more than a dozen Dillon Opens and crewing together at nationals in the 90s.
Never a disagreement. Actually, absolute safe conflict. That was, that I felt never as safe as I was with him.
Kresge was race manager for the Dillon Open, claiming the Starfleet title 7 of the past 10 years. This year's Open hangs in limbo due to COVID. The yacht club meets in July to set a date, without Kresge for the first time in 20 years. A sweeping police reform bill went from concept to law in just 17 days, introduced June 3rd, signed by Governor Jared Polis this morning. Agencies statewide now have 3 years to implement 7 major changes, and Summit Sheriff Jamie Fitzsimons is ready to get going now.
I feel that it is my duty to go and ask that these things be implemented immediately. I don't know why they're less important today than they would be in 2023.
Some changes take effect sooner, like a ban on chokeholds by September 1st. Others, like mandatory body cameras for all departments and state troopers, are likely delayed due to cost.
They're going to have a huge fiscal impact on the county, but this is what the citizens demanded of our state and our community.
For Summit Sheriff, the price tag for body cams is estimated at $5,000 per deputy, upwards of $400,000 per year, on top of staffing, training, and other costs.
The devil's in the details.
Tune in next week for an in-depth review of Colorado's police reform bill with the sheriff and local defense attorney Daniel Garcia. All this week, we've looked at the impact of COVID-19 on Summit County's tourism economy, talking with experts who say an economic development office is needed at the county level to attract new industry and entrepreneurs.
Place-based entrepreneurs dedicated to the impact that they'll have. They're building for a place and they're dedicated to the place that they're building.
But what about entrepreneurs who are already here? Heidi Kuhm, founder of Adventure Feet First, explaining how her trip planning service got off the ground.
Local networking with just a wide array of businesses that I honestly didn't personally know existed prior to these networking opportunities.
Kuhm built her network through meetups in Silverthorne and online chat groups, learning what works for travelers most during COVID.
They're called mini-tinnies or mini itineraries, and they basically set you up for different parts of Colorado with 1 to 3 day adventures, and they focus on camping and local things that you can do that are allowed during COVID right now.
Mini itineraries are not what she imagined at first, but they are helping her to weather the storm.
You've got all these new things you can try, and why not try them? You have time now, so let's try new things. And if you fail, just blame COVID. It wasn't a bad idea. It was COVID.
Stay tuned next week for more in our series on economic opportunity in the wake of COVID. Independence Day is just 2 weeks away, and we've got the latest on fireworks. Kremling, Leadville, Vail, and Beaver Creek host free shows on Saturday, July 4th. Shows are canceled in Summit County, including Breckenridge and Frisco, same as Fairplay, Avon, Eagle, and Gypsum. Local officials are trying to avoid large gatherings with no official town-sponsored parades or celebrations. And in local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency, Summit Sheriff reminds you and boaters and paddlers parking on Dam Road to park in designated parking areas only and avoid crossing the road to reach Lake Dillon. Deputies have counted upwards of 150 cars every weekend at Guyberson Bay and other parking areas. Phil Lindeman, Crystal 93 News.